The 1515 At Home podcast proudly presents an interview with a cupcake. Welcome back for the first time, listeners, to the 1515 At Home podcast. This is a real but also very fake podcast, courtesy of me, Andy, on the events team at Viacom CBS. And I'm joined today by two of my favorite vendors, or one favorite vendor, and that's the pizza Cupcake based out of Brooklyn with Andrea Meggiato and Michelle Jimenez. How you guys doing today?
We're good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So explain to our vast audience of likely 5 listeners, what what is the pizza Cupcake?
So the pizza Cupcake is a gourmet pizza snack made with high quality ingredients. All of our flour is imported from Italy. And yeah, it's a convenient cupcake shaped pizza that you can have on the go or at home. Created by my husband, Chef Andrea Meggiato.
Now, what inspired this amazing hybrid delicacy?
We were inspired mostly from my childhood staple, which was the pizzetta. It's little pizzas that you can buy in Italy in any a bakery. It's not sold in the pizzerias; it's sold in the bakeries. So it's something that you were grabbing, with your mom, like going to buy lunch before going to school, and at the same time, Michelle also had a staple in her childhood that was very close to it, which is the
bagel bite.
Not
really the same quality as Andrea was getting in Italy. Sorry.
Right.
For that. Should we?
That's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So
we gotta do it live. We're doing it live.
Okay, doing it live. Sorry for the notification.
Yeah, what we did was trying to combine the two, like the high quality ingredients and the different type of texture of like the Italian, and combine it with the American lifestyle and the concept of it really that made people so happy and so like.
Oh, wait, are you still here?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I'm still very much here. I'm just listening to you guys speak and tell the story.
Yeah, it's something that puts a smile on people's faces when you mention the name and they see the product, and it gets people excited. So we saw that opportunity and we built a business around it.
Now, what are your thoughts on other hybrid foods like the cronut, for example?
Very inspirational and very, very. I was really, really interested, and I think it's the fact of the name and the newness of the product that it creates that question in your head. It's like, what is it? Like, I want to try it. And so we found that with our product as well, there is something that people want to try it, and it's just not regular pizza. So that's why it's very interesting. The dough is not regular pizza dough. It's not sweet. It's a savory, but it's a hybrid between a brioche and a sourdough, and it gives that texture that melts in your mouth. So those things combined, I think is a great formula to get a viral product.
And also what's interesting is that Cupcake is just referencing the size and shape of the product. And so people are really curious because they're trying to figure out if it's sweet or savory. But as Andrea mentioned, it is a savory product. So it is a pizza product. We use pizza ingredients. It's just the dough recipe is really what separates us from the other frozen pizza products that are in the market right now.
Right, because it sounds like off the bat like some sort of nightmarish thing you'd see on the end of Chopped in the dessert round. Like, you got flour, pepperoni, paleo string cheese, and butter. Make a dessert.
Yeah, sort of. We use fresh mozzarella, San Marzano tomatoes, and all of our
right. Oh, San Marzano. That's when you know it's a top tier ingredient.
Yes.
And olive oil, not butter.
Yeah, so you can pronounce all the ingredients, and that's why, a lot of our customers are mostly parents, and they love feeding this to their kids. So what we try to say is that we want to be the evolution of the bagel bite. I grew up here in America. Andrea grew up in Italy, but growing up, Bagel Bite was something that we always had, and it was convenient. My mom was a single mom raising me, and so that was something that we would have for dinner twice a week, and it was just easy. And so looking back now, I don't think that's something I'd want to feed my kids, because knowing the ingredients in Bagel Bites, but it's something that we are excited about, and to see the excitement from our customers that this is something that their kids will eat who are 2 or 3 years old. It's their first pizza experience, and it's something that we hope will be a staple household item in every American's freezer. So that's our goal.
So let's dive into the meat of this conversation, and that's that the world is currently on fire, unfortunately, due to the pandemic. I want to gauge how it's affected a small business like yourselves. So I know you guys you were in City Field and Smorgasbord for a while in Brooklyn. How has it impacted you before? Like, how were things before, and how do they look now for you in a post-COVID-19 world?
Sure. So I think before, BC, before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
we were just on the go. I think everything was growing very quickly. It was our first year of business, 2019, and we were gearing up for baseball season. So we were in conversations with different stadiums, and then we were also doing corporate caterings 3-4 times a week. And really, we were getting prepared for outdoor smorgasburg. So that's really the busiest time for us is, Q2 is when orders start ramping up. And so we were getting ready with production with our co-packer. And so we were just moving 100 miles a minute. And I think for us, with COVID, we were really affected because we went from $0 in revenue. Second
Wow.
week, the close of all of our distribution channels, which was really, really difficult. Sorry, someone's on the door, which was really challenging for us. And then we had about 2 weeks to really figure out what we were going to do, because we didn't want to shut down our business.
Mm-hmm.
So we pivoted to direct to consumer. We launched our website, and we used the existing inventory that we had from Smorgasburg. And then also the packaging we had produced that we were developing for City Field for the upcoming season. So we used the materials that we had and said, let's try local delivery and see if we can make that happen. And that was actually inspired by a group of nurses who were customers of ours and reached out asking if we were available for delivery. And
Wow.
we said, well, currently we're not, but we are going to figure out a way, since they were local. And then we also saw, we received other inquiries from other healthcare workers asking if we were doing any donations. And so all of this sort of helped us to figure out what we could do to, number one, support our community while also, keeping our business afloat. And that's really how it all started. We partnered with a local courier service, Need It Now Messenger. Sort of cold called them and asked if they would be willing to help out a small business, and got the president on the line of the company, and said,
Right, I was going to say.
President of the company, yes, not of America. And he said, my drivers are busy right now, so our business has declined, and we would love to help you. So that's sort of how it started. And we got a lot of great support from local press, and just our customers were reaching out, and it was really all organic. We weren't doing any paid media. And so Q2 was really just us trying to figure out our frozen product, delivering like locally. And then we launched East Coast shipping May 1st, but still we were very conservative with that. And so now in Q3, we're just really ramping up our e-commerce. So focusing on shipments.
Well, you guys had to adapt fairly quickly. How soon was that turnaround between like the initial downtime of, okay, things are being impacted, shops are closing down, there's chaos, and now you get a phone call about delivery. How quick was that for you guys, that adjustment?
Was it 2 weeks? Because that was the time that it took us to really set up the website and streamline it in a way that we wanted to match our branding. We didn't want to put something up and just like deal with it. Like, we wanted to make it perfect, which it wasn't, but we got close to it, and that gave the confidence to the customers that we were able to fulfill their orders. And we did a lot of learning curve, a lot of studying, a lot of research on dry ice and like installations and all those technical aspects. As a smorgasbord vendor, or like as a food service company, we never really looked into it. So that was able to transition us into the frozen space very quickly and to made us understand that that was the goal for our company, was to really go frozen, because that's what direct consumer is going to be. That's what retail is going to be. And, before we were making everything fresh. It was like
Mm-hmm.
maybe deliveries like a city field and so on, because we just didn't have that knowledge. And we designed a product that works perfectly in that environment. And yeah, it was a 2 weeks time, and then we just started.
Well, it was
And
2 weeks from when we found out that everything was closed, and then we launched
Right.
on March 27th.
yeah,
So it was really like 2 weeks where we weren't generating any revenue and trying to figure out how we could pivot and, figure out the logistics.
where to get the supplies, and because obviously all the factories that were producing those supplies are closed. So the city field packaging came in handy.
Yeah, it came right in
That we had
time.
it right there.
Right. It's so interesting how you essentially have to relearn what your jobs are, because you're at this for about a year or so. And at that point, you think it's pretty standard. You know what pizza cupcake is, how you provide that to your customers, and then taking on a whole new set of skills to deliver the same exact product but through different means. That's pretty impressive how you've
It's a
adjusted
very
that quickly.
different product because it's a
Right.
frozen product.
Right.
Yeah, and so for us, we had to figure out how to package it. And with COVID, the main concern for customers, during that time and still now is the safety of the product. So we want to
Mhm.
make sure that it's packaged safely, that the way that we're delivering it is safe, and that people feel comfortable and confident that they're getting a product that's meeting all the CDC, guidelines, and that it's approved by the health department. So that for us was number one, is the safety and the delivery of the product. And so we've been able, to really learn all of that. I mean, everyone is learning. And I think for us, our business is no longer a restaurant business. We've now transitioned to this direct-to-consumer e-commerce model. And that's the silver lining from COVID is that we've been able to identify a more profitable distribution channel for us, and something that we can control despite all the circumstances that's happening around the world, that we can then say, well, we know that this is what we need in order to keep the business running, and we now know how to do that. So we're just trying to figure out how to scale that and how to get a product from just the East Coast to the West Coast. So our goal is to go from coast to coast in Q4.
So you guys are busier now, I imagine, than you were prior to COVID.
I think it's different challenges.
Mhm.
It's definitely a lot of growing pains, but
Mhm.
I feel like we're still as busy as we were before,
Mhm.
and we haven't really slowed down. We didn't get to, really reap the benefit of just quarantining and, staying social distancing.
Right.
Yes, I didn't get time to reorganize my closet and just like reorganize the apartment. So we're still busy, but we're really grateful, because if we weren't busy, then we would be out of business. So
Correct.
really happy that we're busy.
So you mentioned earlier about just taking safety into like the utmost, like the key focus when delivering a product to your customers. What have you noticed in the restaurant world, the changes that they've made to accommodate for more safety and to make clients feel comfortable when visiting or picking up food, for example?
Well, in the restaurant business, I mean, obviously everything closed, so I cannot speak for that. I haven't really experienced the kitchen in a regular restaurant, but like from our point of view, in a commercial kitchen, that it's a shared kitchen. We did see, a lot of people just like decided to close and not to produce anymore. And there were like teams of like large number of people that couldn't really work because they couldn't get more than 3 people max in the kitchen at the same time. So for us, it was because it was such a small business. It was me and Michelle that we started going in the kitchen because we didn't want to be exposed to having 6-7 people helping us. So we reduced our quantities. We knew our limits, and I have to do everything with her, packing with her, and literally limit every person that we were meeting during the day. And we couldn't produce 10,000 pizza cupcakes like we were doing before for the stadium, but at least we were able to fulfill the orders for our local deliveries. That's how we had to get ourselves into this situation and protect ourselves and our customers at the same time.
So I think to add to Andrea's point, so social distancing in the commercial kitchen space, we also saw when we were ordering like from Sugarfish, the way that they scheduled everything was you have to, pre-schedule the pickup. I know they were doing deliveries, but we were picking up, everything was placed on different tables when you were picking up your delivery, your order. So that was really great. So you weren't actually in contact with another person. Everything was already packed on separate tables. They were limiting the number of people that could enter the restaurant if you were picking up. And then I know when, phase 3 happened and everything was started opening outside, we were noticing people wearing the face masks and the gloves, and then just sanitizing before you would sit down. And then also limiting the number of people that they would have for service, and everything was outside. No one was going inside. So in terms of the restaurant space, I feel like that's what they've been doing as a precaution to make sure social distancing and all the guidelines are in place with, the cleanliness and stuff like that. And then for us, when we're doing the production, limiting the number of people in the kitchen to make sure that we're safe, that the people in the kitchen are also safe, wearing face masks and gloves, sanitizing after every time, like it's like every 30 minutes sanitizing, changing your gloves often, and just making sure that the product is safe. And so I feel like it's just being more mindful and cautious of what you're doing and taking the time to do it versus just trying to produce the amount of pizza cupcakes that you can in a shift.
Right.
It's really identifying, okay, this is how much we are capable of, and putting a plan in place so we can do that. And then with our delivery service, we work with, Need It Now Messenger, who's, they're commercially approved with their licenses, and this is what they do. So they have the proper procedures in place as well with their drivers. And then our customers would leave different messages on how we would deliver the product. Some didn't want they wanted contactless delivery. So we would call them, notify them that the package, the pizza cupcakes are there. Others wanted you, to just call them before they would come down, but then you would leave it there, so they're just, everyone is very different on how they, like on their comfort level. So that's something that we were just working on per customer, just making sure that we were addressing their concerns and making the delivery as safe as possible.
Have you guys been to a restaurant recently since things have reopened slowly? Because in my house, the fiance, he's just like, no, I'm not quite there yet. And I'm
No.
like folks are outside having a good time, having a drink. I want to get back to that lifestyle again.
Well, we do takeout and we do delivery. We actually we haven't had the time to go out and sit at a restaurant, but we've noticed from like when we saw like in our neighborhood how people were interacting for like the customer service at the restaurants. Other feedback like friends have shared with us on their experiences.
It's good research as well for you guys. Keep in mind for the future.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, Smorgasburg is doing Smorgasburg to go, which we're not participating in, but I know it's the same thing as everything with scheduled pickups. So you go in, you pick up your order, and then you can have a social distance, picnic at the park outside.
What do you think restaurants will look like after hopefully things sort of die down and a vaccine comes into place? Do you think we'll get back to a place where we have a crowded restaurant ever again?
I think so.
I think people, like especially during this whole pandemic, there's a need for human connection. There's a need to be able to go outside and just enjoy these moments with friends and family. I think that's the one thing that we've noticed, as a society, of how challenging it is, as human beings, like you just want to have that connection. And so I think, when phase 3 happened, you saw people started going outside. We can speak, about New York City. I'm not sure about other cities.
Right.
There is that need. And I think that once people feel safe again and there's that clarity, on their safety, then I think people are going to start going to their favorite restaurants. And it's unfortunate that a lot of the restaurants, have shut down. And we're hoping that, that in the future that they'll be able to open up again, or there'll be other restaurants that will be coming up that we can support and that people can go and enjoy each other, for dinner, for lunch, for brunch. And that's part of the culture living in New York.
What do you feel you miss the least in a restaurant in a post-COVID world? Because I think, again, overcrowding one thing, and also spots that don't take reservations always got on my nerves. Yeah. Like calling a place like, no, you don't take reservations here. And I feel now every place will have to have reservations going forward.
I guess for us, yeah, it's like being
a little different for us.
Well, I mean, the availability. I think speaking from our perspective, it's sort of like we've figured out a way on how to streamline our production, and we figured out this new distribution channel. So for us, we're able to now reach more customers, where before we were really limited with our customer journey. So, you know, they could only experience us either at Smorgasburg or at City Field, but now we can expand that customer journey beyond those distribution channels and really touch the consumer directly, which I think for us is the biggest advantage from, you know, COVID that we didn't have before.
All right. Final question. And I think it's the most important question I'm going to ask you for this interview, because you guys, you know pizza fairly well, it seems. I have an Italian here. Seems like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to pizza. So I want you to end the debate for me once and for all. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh my gosh.
No. Not even an option.
So I'm Filipino, and I mean, in the Philippines, pineapple on pizza is like a big thing. And when he went to the Philippines, he almost had a heart attack when he saw the pineapple. It's just like, definitely no. I don't mind
I've seen it
it.
before the Philippines. I've seen it here in the U.S. And that's when I started getting.
Well, we call it Hawaiian pizza over here.
Hawaiian pizza, yeah. I don't mind it, but I mean, I think for Andrea, he just likes it very simple. So my palate has become more simple. It's like more classic, simple ingredients for pizza, and I've been able to notice a difference. But before him, I would have said pineapple all the way.
Well, I'm firmly in Andrea's camp, just so we're all clear.
Yeah. No, I know, but
where I
now
stand.
I have more appreciation for, you know, for simplicity. So yes.
What was the name of the sauce that everybody used?
Ranch?
Ranch, yeah. I almost had a heart attack when I saw people like using ranch sauce with a pizza cupcake, and I'm getting there. Like, you know, I'm not there yet, but I'm kind of understanding it in a way, and I'm, you know, maybe we can make it work eventually. Like people put in Tabasco or sriracha, which I like to put spicy sauces on it, but pineapple, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, you can blame a lot of mukbangers for that. I see a lot of folks just dipping like their Domino's or their Papa John's pizza in ranch sauce. I'm like, why? The pizza is fine as it is. Even that's like not even good pizza.
That's why I choose the basic, because you choose the basic to learn how the dough is, how the tomato sauce is. Like I don't want to get confused by other flavors, so I stick to the flavors. Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're masking what could be a quality pizza.
Yeah.
At that point.
Absolutely. So when we first started dating, that was our first date. It was a pizza date. So it's like, and then he taught me how to make pizza. And like, this is how it needs to be. So yes.
God, that is just the cutest story. You met and you had pizza, and then I ran a whole pizza business.
It was a cool, you know, how you call it, like date idea, I guess. Like it was let's have pizza. You know, I'm Italian. I'll show you how to make pizza, and it worked out. You know?
Oh, you're trying to show off then.
Basically.
Yeah. Right.
I thought it was actually really strange. I'm like, pizza date? I never been asked to go on a pizza date, but okay. So here we are. Our first child is the pizza cupcake.
Right. All right, guys. So where can everyone find you and Pizza Cupcake? How can they place orders? Give me all the fun stuff. Plug everything you want to plug right now.
Amazing. Yeah.
So you can find us at www.thepizzacupcake.com or pizzacupcake.com. And you can order online, and you can get your delivery to the East Coast for now. We don't ship to Florida yet, but anywhere else in the East Coast we do. And it's usually like around 1 to 2 days delivery.
For shipping. So we ship with FedEx.
Okay. Sounds good. And any parting words of wisdom you want to leave our listeners with before we say goodbye?
Never give up. There is always a way to figure something else and learn something new that you didn't know about, that it's available online. And that's how you get out of these situations, and you can figure out how to pivot your business.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this first episode, and maybe the last episode of this podcast. Who knows?
Oh, we hope not. We hope it's not the last one.
So thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. Best luck with all your business, and you guys are booming now, it seems. I'm really glad for you guys, and stay tuned, listener, for maybe more of this in the near future. Who knows?
For sure. You did a great
This
job.
this might be my future job.
I love it.
Stay
You're
tuned.
very talented and engaged. So we will keep on listening. Send us the link and we'd love to tune in.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
All right.
much.